I want to share the wonder of experiencing the Spoleto Valley from the saddle of a bicycle. I began planning this tour in the green heart of Italy during those initial sedentary weeks of the pandemic, and it would take 2 years to finally begin the trip. As soon as the bicycles that first day were delivered, we were out exploring the countryside, eventually reaching the church of San Damiano outside of Assisi. Dennis, my traveling companion, had agreed to accompany me on this adventure. He was an eager companion. San Damiano was the first of a series of small churches where St. Francis and his brothers had lived and worshipped, and it was here where St. Clare and her sisters had lived in solitude. The refectory of the sisters is decorated starkly, with frescoes depicting the crucifixion and the visit of Pope Gregory IX to St. Clare, miraculously blessing the loaves. In one spot in their sleeping quarters, we find the place where St. Clare passed from this life. St. Francis returned to San Damiano shortly before his passing. It was here he wrote his famous Cantico di Frate Sole, the first verse written in the popular tongue that would become modern Italian. After a good night's sleep at the lovely Hotel Viole, we began our long day to Spoleto. Heading south from Viole, we pass another small church, like many others that dot the countryside. After passing the church, we stop to take photos and visit with a friendly dog guarding a farmer's field before beginning the gradual ascent. As the road continues up the gradual slope of Monte Subasio, it grows narrower. Mature olive groves begin to crowd the road on each side, marking the beginning of the Way of the Olives. The Way of the Olives is an ancient route high above the valley floor that stretches south beyond Spello. During the wetter months, travelers would take this route to avoid the boggy areas below. As I continue, I imagine St. Francis walking barefoot from Assisi to Foligno, or perhaps Spoleto, in early spring. After a couple of hours on bicycle, the village of Spello comes into view. It is one of the most picturesque villages in all of Italy. During this Holy Week, paintings showing the Stations of the Cross decorate the streets of the village. I look specifically for the Church of Sant'Andrea, the resting place of the Blessed Andrea Caccioli, one of the first brothers of the Order of Friars Minor. In a small chapel, the statue of St. Francis seems to watch over Blessed Andrea as he rests. Outside Spello, we follow a small road down to the plain, and then into the heart of the city of Foligno. Once in the center, due to a detour around the Basilica and restoration, our GPS leads us in circles. Having lost our way, we finally look up and say a prayer in desperation. On this spot, similar to St. Francis, we find our way once more and thank our beloved saint. Outside Foligno, we continue on our way following a well-groomed bicycle trail. We enjoy views of villages dotting the slopes on each side of the valley, including Monte Falco, famous for its delicious wine. This trail gives way once again to country roads, weaving through towns and villages. The air is cool, and the wind in this part of the valley is brisk, and we grow tired, anxious to reach our lodging for the night. And with a distant glimpse of Spoleto before us, we finally find the entrance to the last bicycle trail that will lead us straight to our destination. After more than 50 kilometers, we arrive in Spoleto and begin the final leg of our trip, up through the narrow medieval streets of the city. Again, we pass a tiny church, this time overwhelmed by the ancient homes. Spoleto's past began centuries before the birth of Christ, and there are remnants of Etruscan, Roman, and medieval structures gracing the slope of this beautiful city. After a long day, we pause only minutes in our hotel before heading to the crown of Spoleto, its magnificent Duomo. We go to see specifically the letter written by St. Francis to Brother Leo, and to look in awe at the frescoes by Filippo Lippi, showing scenes from the life of the Virgin Mary. This has been a long day and we are exhausted. We eat a quick supper and stumble back to our hotel. Tomorrow we face another day on bicycle, this time heading north up the valley.